Hello, welcome to another video on speculation in the comic market. It's been a while since I did one of these videos, but I've had some interesting questions in the last couple of weeks that I thought would be neat to lump them into one video as far as all the answers. When I made the video to compare CGC and CBCS slabs. One of the regular viewer, it is not 1984. That's the name of the viewer. Asked me whether I think the existence and addition of CBCS slabs water down the value of CGC slabs, and my reply at the time to him was, "No, that's not it. CGC does a fine job watering down the value of the slab themselves." So I want to elaborate on that answer. What I was referring to was the most dangerous area of speculation, more so than buying modern books for $5, hoping to sell for $20 because of some kind of movie hypes or TV hypes. Even more dangerous and risky than that speculation is speculating slash thinking something is an investment in high grade books. Okay, to me, that is the most dangerous area of the market for many years now. For those that understand the population of CGC and how high grade slabs have declined precipitously, I can't even say the word, over the past many years, you know what I'm talking about. But for the younger collector or those that are not familiar with high-end market, let me elaborate. Whenever, back in the early days of CGC, when uh, they slapped, say, let's say the first X-Men 100 in 9.8. It's the only slab in 9.8, and I think what happened is a lot of collectors have a misconception that it's hard to find a 9.8 giant size X-Men or X-Men 100. Okay, so those with deep pocket would fight each other to bid up that book, and they become a high price. But over the years, dozens of X-Men 100 were slabbed and get 9.8. So the population of that certain grade grows and grows and grows, as well as 9.6 and 9.4, to a point where there are hundreds of those slabs around. I got into a debate with a collector ones that own multiple copies of these kind of books, and he thought that was like the best retirement plan ever, and he was not very happy to see them dropping in from the in excess of $1,000 all the way down to say $600 or something like that. I have no idea what a 9.8 X-Men 100 go for today, but I can't imagine it go for anywhere near $600. Most likely less, and I'm pretty sure this individual paid more than $1,000 for his copy back in the early 2003, I think. I put out some example. You can do some own research, but there's some interesting research to show that is the population of any given grade in the high end. By high end, I mean 9.6, 9.8, maybe 9.4. But once you get into the mid grade area, the population growth of the slab books in those area mid grades doesn't really have much impact as far as the value, because there's a lot of people that collect books in the mid-range area. So you're not going to see, a lot of depreciation in value, because there's only so many people that's willing to pay silly prices for the high-end books. Okay, so here's an example of what I'm talking about. Green Lantern 76, the iconic green cover that Neil Adams did. We all love the book that is a cornerstone of the Bronze Age. Back in November of 2010, okay, you're talking about not even 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, November of 2010. Back then, only 5 9.6 slab exist. One of them was auctioned off for over 14,000. Over 14,000. Okay, keep that in mind. 2010, 6 slab copy, $14,000. August of 2011. Okay, not even a year. You're talking 9 months later, August of 2011. By that time, there are 8. So the population grew from 5 copies to 8 copies. The auction result was $9,500. So we're dropping over 14,000 all the way down to 9,500 in 9 months. Let's jump forward to February of 2014. Okay, 2.5 years later. February of 2014, now the population has doubled again to 16. So it went from 5 to 8 to 16. So now you have 16 copies in 9.6 grade. The auction price, $6,273. You see that? So it went. So from 2010 to 2014 in a quick 3.5 years, the book went from over 14,000 all the way down to 6,200. I'm not sure the person that paid the 14,000 still owns his copy. If he still has it, I'm sure he's not happy to see the value of the book now drop to $6,200. And who knows what will happen to the population of Green Lantern 76 as time goes on. Maybe more copies, maybe, unless there are more people with deep pockets jumping into the hobby and start to bid up those books, those 9.6 slabs, the trend will continue to be downward. Thus, I can't stress enough that the most dangerous area of the market is the 9.6 and 9.8, especially for the Bronze and modern books. Okay, because there are just so many of them out there in raw condition. I can tell you, I personally slabbed a lot of 9.8 Bronze books, so I know there are a lot of them out there that are still raw, a lot. So if you think the population of these grades are not gonna grow, you're gonna be wrong, because they will keep growing. And as long as they keep growing and the demand is not there to meet the growing population, you see price decline, okay? Because Green Lantern 76, surely the person that bid in 2011, 2014 knew that the previous copies sold for $14,000, but guess what? There's not other people to bid, to fight over that book past $6,000. So it is what it is, okay? So this is why, you know, I think regardless of the existence of CBCS or any other company, CGC themselves does a very good job of watering down the value of high-grade slabs. It's not their fault. They just grade the book that's given to them. But the fact that as more people submit the book to CGC, it just ultimately drives down the prices of many of these high-end, high-grade books. Okay, and before I run off, I had an interesting conversation with another friend recently, and he was asking me why the speculation market are so crazy now compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even in the 90s. And, for sure, my answer was pretty simple, for sure the internet, the age of information, news, rumor transfer very quickly. So that's a big part of why speculation craze is as madness as it is today. But but the biggest contribution to the craze and the madness that we see today is the demographic of the players. Okay, if you go back to the 70s, the 80s, even the early 90s, the the vast majority of the collectors are younger people, college age, young professional. So it's not the 40, 50-year-old people with deep pockets. Okay, so back then, when you have such a younger demographic that take up the bulk of the collecting community, there's not enough money to force the books up. Okay, but over the past 10 years, the majority of these younger people back 20, 30 years ago, now they're in their 40s or 30s or 50s, and they have jobs, they have saving, they have money, and they are willing to spend and bid up the book. So, the bulk of the collectors, speculators today are not teenagers, high school kids, or middle school kids, or even college kids that bought books back in the 80s. It's not. Sure, there are college kids today. It's just like you look at the Incredible CJs, I think Dark Knights, and Spider Fan 78. There are college age collectors out there, but that's not the bulk of the deep pockets that are chasing, bidding up the crazy books that we see today. Because at the end of the day, unless people have money to bid up these books, they won't go up, right? So that's it. The demographic of the collecting market has changed so much in the past 20 years that by itself contribute to the bubble that we see today. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.